On your marks, get set, play.
I love that. Really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Welcome back to the tent. It's Krème. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. It's hosted by me, the Unders Table 13, and her, the introduced Nick Jew.
Ghost ride the whip.
You know how we do. But of course, we're not alone because we got, we are doing bakers this go around, y'all. We get them all. Well, I'm not gonna get them all, but I'm gonna have 6 of them. and in this case, I'm joined by the lovely Adela from this season of Great American Baking Show over on Roku. Adela, welcome to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So wonderful to have you. This is going to be a delight. You know the deal, people. We're going to walk through some stuff. We're going to do our little interview. Then we're going to recap and review the show. It's going to be so much fun. I have to move my stuff over here. I keep doing this and putting it on the wrong screen. And when I have it on the wrong screen, I got to be over here. And I need to be over here.
You can look at the camera.
So I can look down the barrel so my face is not elsewhere. So I still just managed to move it to the wrong side of the screen, but we're good. We're good. There it is. There it is. There's my notes. Okay, everybody. So our news segment of course, called Bakers Make the World Go Round. But in this case, our news segment is going to be us interviewing Adela. So I'm going to click go on this here link, and then we're going to get to some bakers. Bakers make the world go round. Still love that a lot. It's still kind of fire, so respect it. Adela, thank you so very much for hanging out with us. Congratulations on making it to the tent. It's a rare group of people that can and have, and it's so nice that you were one of them. So
I know. Still can't believe it, actually. But yeah, thank you.
Just going through your bakes on Instagram, I see why. You're just an incredible baker, such an aesthetically pleasing baker. You have such interesting flavor combinations. I was in on the fish sauce last week immediately. You were at the episode. I was like, I see the vision. It's the umami. They unfortunately were like, oh, we can't taste it, but I think that's the point of it, right? But
exactly. You got it.
Everything you bake is so aesthetically pleasing.
I'm telling you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Fish is the word. It's the one, it throws the whole loop off. People are like, fish. And they're like, no, baby, it's just sauce. I'm not throwing a herring up in here. I mean, unless it's called for. Relax. So we're good to have you here. We're going to interview and talk to you about all kinds of things that went down for you in this baking experience and just in life in general. Because, come on, who cares about, we love the tent, but the tent is not everything. You are more than just that. So
and now I'm 90% tent.
Right. It's 90%
there
tent.
Might not be much more.
10% earrings.
Gotta start. Gotta be your social media of like blur with 90% tent. So it's all good. So everyone seems to be, but I want somebody to answer this question like, nah, I never even heard that show. I assume you were a fan of the OG, the Bake Off. Good.
Absolutely.
Okay. We got that.
Yes.
Now, so how long have you been watching the Bake Off? Because some people are like, I've been watching since Mary Berry, and I'm like, some people are like, I got on when Noel came about. And do you have a favorite baker, or I guess host or whatever amongst the how much Bake Off you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I've been watching Bake Off definitely since the Mary Berry days. When she left the tent, I was really heartbroken. I was like, oh, is this going to be the same show? And then also the original hosts. I remember back when they used to do those segments where they actually would teach you about the bake. Remember that?
Mhm.
Where they'd be like, this is where this is from. They were like, no one wants history anymore. We're cutting that. So I've been a big fan of the Great British Bake Off. It's one of the things that helped me become a better baker because I would bake along because you see these people doing these amazing things and they are amateur bakers and you kind of want to try, you want to put your spin on it. And through that, I learned so much more just about technique and different types of, the core pastry skills. And that's how I learned so much about this and how I got into the tent really was the British Bake Off. My favorite baker, which I heard you ask Daniel this, and I was like, oh, I have to pick one. I think it's Helena Garcia. Do you remember her? I mean, she was the witchy one.
From which I'm trying to think. Was she from a Knoll season?
Yeah, she was on a Knoll season because her whole thing was she loved spooky stuff. Halloween, like literal witches.
Yeah,
she ended up being on an episode of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes, I mean that's amazing to go from the tent to What We Do in the Shadows. Noel loved her because they were just like the kindred spirits, and now she sells like witch hats and decorations. And in addition to baking, I just thought she was so fun and unique, and just even after over a decade of the show, so different than anybody else that's ever walked into the tent.
Dig, well done, nice choice. See.
Good pull. Definitely. Obviously, it's your game, but I'm going to say a different person every time because I do have a handful of favorites. And this week, I'm shouting out Selassie.
Yes.
Wherever you are.
Oh, yes.
I love you.
Such a sweetheart.
Yes. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah, for certain. How'd you just in general get started with baking? Just what made you say, I'd like to take this hobby up? If it is a hobby in your mind.
Now it's my life. I didn't grow up with baking. So, my mom is immigrant from China, and baking is not a huge part of the culture there. We have great bakeries, but home baking is not necessarily something, every mom does, like no cookies, no cake box mixes. And so, my oven, I don't think I've ever seen my mom turn on any oven in my entire life to this day. And so I really got into baking because when I was in high school, I needed a job just to pay for gas. I worked at a Cold Stone Creamery. I don't know if you have that near you. The mix-ins and the singing. Yeah, I was singing for tips. And I actually had to make the ice cream cakes eventually. So that, meant making the cakes from cake box mix. And then, it was layers of ice cream, but then you had to make ganache and you had to decorate it. And so I actually learned just the basics of how to build a cake there. And then eventually I was like, oh, what is in this cake mix? Like, what am I putting in this cake? And it grew from there. In college, I was the one to make everyone's birthday cakes out of my small dorm oven, and it was like in a tin, like a takeaway tin, and I would just put a Barbie on top and call it a day. Nice. And then and like I said, the British Bake Off, it really helped me grow my love of baking because everyone knew me as a baker, but then I saw people doing breads and laminated doughs, and I was just like, oh, I don't know any of these things. I feel like I'm not, as good of a baker if I haven't at least tried one of everything.
Okay, I get that. Need y'all to know.
I also started work. My first job was at Baskin Robbins, but I was not talented enough to decorate cakes. But I also was lactose intolerant, so I would try a bunch of different like toppings mixed together in a cone. So it would just be like toppings and a little bit of whipped cream or whatever. That was my I'm gonna try some stuff while I'm here. But
one ice cream a day.
Yeah.
Cold Stone is the only ice cream cake I put any respect on because it's an actual cake.
So is Baskin Robbins.
I thought Baskin Robbins was doing the crunchies like Dairy Queen.
No,
They got
it's a
cake in theirs?
It's a cake.
Okay, we put some respect on Baskin Robbins' name too. Then I don't get down with that. My man, one of my best friends, Gabriel, loves ice cream cake and always tries to argue with me. It's cake. I'm like, no, it's not. It's ice cream shaped like a cake, but it ain't cake.
No, there's cake. There's a layer of cake like baked into, and then they mold ice cream around it and decorate it.
Then respect the Baskin Robbins and of course Cold Stone for doing what they do. I love that for us. So.
I was looking through your bread bakes, and is it bread? I haven't watched the whole thing. I watch it a week at a time. Is bread week 3?
Yes, bread week is week 3.
No spoilers, but I am really excited to see how you do during bread week.
Okay, well, don't get too excited.
Oh no! Oh no!
Bread is not necessarily my forte.
Bread is hard. It's finicky.
Yeah, it's hard. It takes time. You know, you got to sit there. You got to baby it and be like, are you ready to be put into the oven? Are you ready to be taken out of the oven? And I just, sometimes I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
Anything you have to go through in proof and all this other extra work is like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I love to eat it though.
Yeah,
I do love to eat bread.
Yes, we will all put respect on bread. I'm not trying to prepare it. I mean, I guess at some point I should try my hand at a loaf of.
I can't believe you've never baked bread as much as you bake. No bread.
It is not for me.
It's too much science.
That's the one where it is super hyper specific scientifically, and so it's like, don't mess that up. And I don't like doing that. I like having a good time in the kitchen, not doing math.
Yeah.
Or maths, as it were.
Maths.
One of my fresh questions just for you. What do you do in real life?
Okay.
And what if it does what you do in real life, does it help at all in the tent or in the baking situation?
Yeah. So what do I like? How do I make money?
However you wish to take that. Yes, but I guess
I work at a finance tech company. I've worked in tech a long time. It's actually where I met my husband. We used to work at a company called Seamless. You might know it as Grubhub. It does a food delivery app. Mm-hmm. So we met ages ago there. And I do data analytics work. So I'm sort of in spreadsheets all day. I think they showed that in that first episode. So embarrassing.
No, but they zoomed in on your very beautiful wedding ring. So don't be embarrassed in that scene. It was like Excel spreadsheet, wedding ring. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I've heard other people make that comment, and I did not cop that. All I saw was like my fake spreadsheet that they made me make because like I couldn't show real numbers, and they're just like, just pretend to be speaking, and I'm like, oh, it's grown 40%, so good. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? It does help a little bit. I mean, I think when it comes to some of the math that you need to do for baking, it comes a little bit easier to me. I think more around organization, which my job requires because I help run a team. And I think that helps even more, especially during the process of getting to the tent, preparing all your recipes, making sure that you're hitting the timelines, that you're organized about the way that you're writing the recipes. I think that came a little more naturally to me because of my job, although still very stressful, was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life.
That's my logic. I was just telling my partner tonight, I was like, if I could concentrate on work like I concentrate on doing these notes for this show, I'd be so much better at my job. But it's okay. It happens to the best of us. Again, here you get the freshest, brand newest, just for you questions. Okay. When you're getting judged in set, is it better to go first or be last? Now, I flip an addendum to that because I thought about it as I was writing these questions. I was like, hold on. Are they judging you in the order they're showing us? Or is that something they move around in the edit? Because then I noticed here in episode 2, you were first 1, 2, and 3, all 3 of, segments. So I was like, that's crazy. So all of that, boom.
Yeah. I don't think they show us in order of the way that they're judging. I think they're putting it together in a way that makes sense for them. But when it comes to whether they're tasting you first or last, I think it's more about whether the bake in front of you is really, really good, because it's hard following up on a handshake. You know, someone gets a handshake and you're like, well, you know, he's not going to give out 2 in a row. He's going to save them. So you're just sort of like, well, hopefully he likes this one too. So I think it's less about being first or last. I think they're pretty good about reserving their judgment and focusing on the bake. But it also, when someone does really well in front of you, you're so happy for them. Everyone really is there supporting one another. But you're also like, oh, I got to follow that up. Oops.
So probably first thing, you want to be the goal. You want to go up top. That way, if nothing else, like fine, let everybody else do what they're going to do. That way, I'm done with mine.
If I'm failing, I'm going to fail fast.
There we go. No
I noticed speaking of editing, in episode 1, you cut your hand, and it was about 90 seconds of the finished show, and then they just showed you like all wrapped up. And it seems by second episode you were okay, but I couldn't really tell because you were going like this while you were being judged. So like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, those glass bowls are the devil. No one should ever use them at home, for real. You know, they like us to have them because, of course, they're really aesthetic on camera. People who do Instagram videos of baking, they like them because you can see what's going on. I completely understand it in that context. But we are moving so quickly, and we are trying to go at a speed that is not normal in a kitchen that's not ours, and we're not used to the equipment. And so the way that bowl fits into the bottom, you have to get it really tight. Otherwise, when you turn the mixer on, it will start to wobble a little bit. And that's what happened. It wasn't quite sealed in. And then the beater kind of like spun it around. And then when I went to go turn it off, it broke. And then I cut my hand.
It's terrifying.
And so, yeah, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, did that happen? My bad. I was like, can I save the dough? Like, no.
Like you might have.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So do they like stop the clock or do they just keep going?
So they don't stop the clock. So the rest of the bakers, they have to keep going, which I completely understand. And then the medic in the tent is like, so, you know, amazing, helped me, bandaged me. They had to change my apron twice because I kept getting blood on it. And of course they couldn't show that. So I look a little disheveled at the end. My hair's all over the place. My collar's all up. And so the time that I'm with the medic, they give back because I had to start over, right? It was at the very beginning, which like almost was better because it meant that I could just, you know,
remake the dough.
Literally start over.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to start over, and they were very, really kind in giving me some extra time at the end. So, you know, they cut it to look like I ended with everybody else. I think it just like is less confusing, but you know, they were really nice about it. And then, you know, everyone working on the show is so amazing too. They're just like, don't worry about this. Like, do not worry. Like, we will give you the time back, you know, because they know you're kind of freaking out inside, and they're like, you know, just worry about yourself. Like, let's make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Good. And it's all wasn't stitches level cut. It was just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, your hand bleeds really easily. It's so vascular, so it just wouldn't stop bleeding. I still have tiny scars, which are like my little reminders of the tent.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the next episode, I'm still cut up, but I was hiding it better. The blue Band-Aids went, and I just had normal Band-Aids.
I see. Yeah, because I was trying to look. I'm like, I forget what judging it was. I was like, is she still wearing the thing or no?
Wrap that bad boy tight. Keep it locked up. What's your favorite thing that you bake? What's your like? This is my go-to. When I do this, people know your girl came through. What's your favorite thing to bake?
I actually love pie. It's something that seems really simple. I think people think it's simple because it's so Americana, but it takes a long time to do, and you're often doing it days in advance because you got to do the dough and then the filling. You got to kind of time it right, and so it really is a labor of love, and it's something that you have to basically eat in one go. Like leftover pie, especially if it's like, you know, a wet filling, it's not as good when it's right out of the oven. And I kind of love that. I just love I made this beautiful pie. It has all the different textures. It's crunchy on the outside. It has like a soft texture on the inside. And we have to eat it now. All of it.
I saw that you made a banoffee pie, but you added gochujang. Was that the?
Yeah, gochujang in the caramel. Again, to give it a little bit of spice, a little bit of salt.
I see the vision. I see the vision.
It's my hatred of bananas which makes me go, ugh.
I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the banoffee pie as a whole.
It seems wildly sweet.
It.
Like, they always clown us about like, oh, you Americans, you're so sweet. I'm like, y'all make banoffee pie. Everything about that seems like sweet.
Sugar on top of sugar.
It is
with
very
some sugar
sweet.
and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why you need to add a little something to kind of beat that back. Give me a little something extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely grasp that. Do you got any hobbies outside of baking? Do you have something that you like? I do this or do that. I know you were a fan of theater because the show told me that. So, but anything besides that as well?
Yeah, I mean, we do love theater. I think Nick, you mentioned like there's cheap ways to do theater. That's exactly what we do. We do lottery because we're in New York, so if we have a free day, we'll just try for a lottery and you get lucky and you get to go for like $40 per person. It's so wonderful.
Nice.
Although I need to set the record straight, like Cats is not my favorite musical, but I did not know what other show to represent. But people will be like, oh, that's a musical. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do Cats. Outside of that, I really love hiking. I love being outdoors. And so, my husband and I with our dog will drive up a few hours upstate New York and we'll hike, every other weekend. We travel a lot to go hiking. We just came back from Chile, hiking Patagonia, and that's how we explore the world, is through food and through hiking.
Oh, very cool. See? Tell me that. I mean, I get that you love the theater, and I do. Hey, I appreciate it too, but still, I want to know that you're going around everywhere, like doing the dang thing. That's great.
There's this little dumpling spot. The name just escaped me as we started in Dumbo. It's like the tiniest little place. There's only maybe like 5 or 8 seats in there. Have you been there? I'm trying to think of the name, but they have like a I think it's I'm gonna find the name while we're talking, but
okay.
your theater stuff. I am a huge theater fan. I have a degree in theater. I worked in the theater for a very long time. What have you seen lately that you've loved, or maybe not loved?
Well, I love everything a little bit just because everyone's trying so hard. But so there is a musical that actually transferred from London called Operation Mincemeat, which I saw recently. Amazing, so funny, so clever. And it's funny because when I was in the UK filming, it was in London at the same time on the West End. Yeah, and I didn't get to see it, obviously. I had no time. But I was so happy that it transferred to Broadway. And I was like, I get to see it.
Is it based off of Titus Andronicus?
No, so Operation Mincemeat is it's based off a true story of the MI6 in the UK during World War II. It's like a specific operation that they had where they essentially faked a pilot crashing into the ocean with war plans so that the Nazis would find these like fake war plans and think that they were doing something different. Yeah. And so it was a real operation, and there's a few movies actually based off of it. And then they made this musical, this like comedy musical.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That sounds, see?
It's called Lucky Rabbit Noodles. They have a matzo ball soup dumpling that I cannot stop thinking about. I'm going to put a link.
Oh, I have not been there.
The chat.
Yeah,
it's very, very tiny. Like maybe 8 or 10 seats. There was a line waiting outside when we got there, but it went by very quickly. But a lot of people were picking up to-go orders. But if next time you're over there, I highly recommend their noodles. We got like 3 different kinds of dumplings, but those matzo ball soup dumplings, it was just like the perfect combination of 2 things that I love.
It sounds delicious.
Is there a soup dumpling for a guy like me, Nick? You know what I eat. Am I able to eat soup dumplings?
I think you would like this matzo ball soup dumpling.
All right, we'll figure something out. You know, I can't eat gelatin.
Yeah, a lot of soup dumplings are made with pork too, so that's kind of
playing your man.
a no.
I be seeing dumplings, they be looking so fire, and I'm like, can't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
It's okay, one day. In general, how was your time in England? I know you're mostly focused on, head down show stuff, but it's England. It's kind of cool. You can go kick it in.
Where we stayed was really fun. It had a lot of like Afghani food, Iranian food. So it was a really cool town to be in from a food perspective. I love food just in general. So it was really fun to be in this kind of town outside of what you think of as London. But as far as the rest of the UK, I saw my apartment and I saw 3 grocery stores and I saw all the sidewalks in between, and that is it.
Oh my gosh. What grocery store they send you to? Because them berries, especially this week, because we're talking about these blackberries, they were like, I'm like, these things as big as my thumb. What's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, they provide you with a lot of stuff on set, and you could have brought your own berries, but I mean, none of us would have thought to bring our own fruit unless it's something very, very specific that you want to be, a very specific way. So yeah, we were just going to local grocery stores, but we would go there at least once a day because you're constantly baking. You're constantly like, oh no, I don't have enough heavy cream.
I don't think I've ever thought about this, and I didn't write this one down. Like, did they just slip y'all some bread and be like, all right, baby, that's your grocery money. Go ahead and go get you what you need. Or are you like, I got to hit my bank account. Let me go ahead and I'm about to do something crazy. So what is the deal when you're over there? How are they, I guess, taking care of you?
Yeah, they take care of us. We can't go out and buy caviar and champagne and have that for dinner, but they are helping us with ingredients for sure.
Okay. Good. I love it. Because I've now talked to so many of you guys, which is so dope when you think about it. I know they got wild ingredients compared to us. Is it something that you were like, I really got to get used to this? Or you were like, nah, I've been baking long enough. I know what I'm up to when it comes to these jam sugars or whatever. It's jam sugar that drives me insane the most. I'm always like, how do we have a different sugar for everything? And I know why. It's sugar with pectin in it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's already in there, but it isn't something that we're used to as Americans. So it is a little bit different. I think their dairy is, I think, a little better than our dairy just normally. It has a higher fat content, so the butter is going to melt a little faster. If you're using heavy cream, they have 2 kind of creams that are a little bit lighter and a little bit heavier than our heavy cream. And so that was probably the ingredient I had to get the most used to, which is how do I produce something like whipped cream, like what an American would think of as whipped cream. And I mean, look, I'm good at math, and the math was not mathing at that point. I think I was just so tired, and I'm like sitting over my mixer being like, it should just be 2/3 this, 1/3 this, but it's not working. And I'm just like crying into my whipped cream.
Oh no.
Like, I'm awful. I can't even make whipped cream.
Like, what am I doing here?
Exactly. I don't belong here.
Oh my gosh. See, that's when they throw you for such a loop. I'm like, no, it's too much. But I'm glad I'm glad that you worked it out and so forth. So very good. All right. I'm officially out of questions. I'm not really, but that's all you're going to get from those questions. Nick, any other ones before we go down?
No,
into it?
I think we're good.
All right. Perfect timing. Right here, I'm going to edit in some kind of break that I actually have music for and an idea going in my head. I literally downloaded a video for them. Like that a good bit of stock video and this music. So watch. All of a sudden it just happened. And now we move on. So let's go ahead and review and recap episode 2 of season 3 of the Roku channel, The Great American Baking Show. Our intro this week, Nick, I was like, at first I was like, where is this about to go?
Oh, the BTS.
Bruh, what is it? Hold on, they wrote, what is it? The Secrets of the Tent.
Yeah.
Bruh. Like I said, when it first started, I was like, this is about to be. But then when they got to that, Spool took me out. I was like, y'all some fools. And my favorite part is, of course, and you guys will see it here, when they're like, the buddies work for the CIA. And then what Zach is like, even bunnies, and then right then, and I mean the best edit ever. And as now that I have to edit video, I'm getting an idea. I'm like, they cut to a bunny just sitting there, and I'm like,
just sitting there.
So, absolutely perfect pitch, perfect editing on this on that little bit. I love that bit, and like I said, you'll see it here as you watch this edited version of the show. You won't get it live right now. I'm sorry, people. Just is what it is.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cake Week. Now, you all know how this works by now. Zach and I stand up here, we banter about, but you probably just want to skip this and get to the baking, right?
Which we get, but for those of you who are willing to stick around, we're going to reveal the secrets of the tent.
Did you know that Prue's glasses don't have lenses?
Whoa.
And the baker stations use instant boiling water?
So hot.
And Paul's eyes are actually brown. He's eaten so much Blue 9 food coloring that his irises are permanently damaged.
Trust us on the side.
And there's a bunker underneath the tent where they raise bakers.
Okay, Casey, you're revealing too much.
I agree.
Welcome to the Great American Baking Show!
And the bunnies work for the CIA.
If you believe they're bunnies.
Our remaining bakers in the tent are this lady right here. It's Adela. It's Alma. It's Chris. It's Daniel. It's Elisa. It's Kim and Pablo. And let's get to it. Nick, hit me.
Signature challenge is a family-size fresh fruit bundt cake. The cake must include fresh fruit in the sponge as well as an icing or glaze and an additional element. The flavors and fruit are entirely up to the baker's choice, but they must use fresh fruit. They have 2.5 hours.
So like last week, I was like, they got a little too English, a little too British for what they decided. This week, I was like, yeah, there you go. We are hitting American type things, spot on bit for bit. And a bundt cake, I'm not saying it's American because it's probably not. The bundt pan was probably invented somewhere in France at some point. I probably should have researched that, but I didn't think to. But a bundt cake is like, I'm like, yes, this is fire. And everybody seemed to bring a bundt pan along with them. I was like, that's dope. Like I brought this from home. My grandma gave me this when I was like, that's so cool. Bundt cake. You think, hey, that's going to be my baking show of cake debut situation?
I think I can't remember if they've ever done bundt cakes before, but the real challenge with a bundt cake is it's a big cake. With a short amount of time, trying to get a bundt cake to bake and cool enough so that you can get some kind of icing and decoration on there, that was probably the hardest part of that challenge.
It was very wild to watch, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what the issue with these are. Is like they're gonna have wild bake times, wildly disparate baking times depending on the size of your bundt pan and so forth, and adding wet fruit up in it. Just everything gets thrown for a bit of a loop.
Yeah, and you have the unmolding.
Which
so stressful.
It was so nice to see everybody's come out though. I was like,
yeah, everyone's came out clean, which is amazing because I know a couple people who like specifically bake bundt cakes, and it's always a 2-time deal. They always got to do a second one. I looked it up. Wikipedia says the bundt cake is based off of a shape that's inspired by a traditional European cake known as Gugelhumpf.
German.
Gugelhumpf is traditionally known as Bunchkuchen.
Bunchkuchen. We'll go with that.
Yeah, there you go. But the style of mold in North America was popularized in the 50s and 60s when a manufacturer Nordic Ware trademarked the name Bundt to make the pans out of cast aluminum, and then Pillsbury made it popular.
Pillsbury is why we can't say Bake Off in America.
In America, and I wish they would let that go. Let us have that.
Like, this should not be beef, but it is. Daniel's up top. He's going for a backyard blackberry Bundt. It's going to be flavored with almond and lemon zest, filled with blackberries, covered with a lemon glaze, and decorated with a marzipan fox and white chocolate moon and stars. I need you to know that hearing Dane Prue, this classy lady, say piss on the bottom.
Piss. I hate that word. And then she just said it, and I was like, no bleep or nothing. Just like the first time we hear Prue's lovely voice this episode, she talked about pee.
It was pretty wild to say. At least I was kind of like, dang, Prue.
It was good advice, though. Like, don't eat the yellow snow. Don't pick the blackberry from the bottom of the bush.
You know, they not wrong. It's okay. Chris is up next. He's going for a blackberry apple cider donut cake. It's going to be flavored with cinnamon, nutmeg, and cardamom, filled with blackberries, topped with a blackberry glaze. Adele is next. Mango in the coconut, Bundt lime, and coconut flavored sponge, covered in coconut lime glaze, topped with mini chocolate coconuts. Those are really dope. I need you to know that. I was like,
so cute.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything about it. I don't like mango. That's me. My lady loves mango. So there's a lot of mango going on in this house at all periods of time. So you just would have made her something that she would have been just head over heels for. So worry not. Pablo's up next. Regal raspberry chocolate Bundt, chocolate stout sponge encased in a chocolate raspberry ganache, topped with a chocolate flower and crown. Elisa, blackberry lime Bundt, lime and blackberry sponge filled with blackberries, topped with candied limes and additional blackberries and a blackberry glaze. I need you to know, as soon as I heard her say 90 minutes, I was like, nope, far too long. In just about any situation. I know Bundt has got to bake you got to bake them bad boys hard, but I was like, that's too hard, girl. Can't do that. But that's just me knowing a little something about a little something. Alma, nothing Bundt the cake. It's a cherry almond sponge filled with cherries covered in dark chocolate ganache, topped with cherry buttercream rosettes and these little candied cherries. Y'all had to see her working this magic. That did not work out, unfortunately, because the cake was too warm, but we'll get to that when we get to judging. Kim, dedication to Dad Bundt. This is an almond, cherry, and mint. And I was like, okay. Sponge filled with cherries, topped with marzipan cherries, and a decorative piping of glaze. You got
to combination: mint, almond, and cherry. I'm trying to imagine what it tastes like.
I bet you go, because they didn't actually show her doing the mint. So did she use a mint essence, or did she hit it with some like
fresh mint?
It's fresh mint. Nice. I love that. Yeah, I don't feel like I saw them show that, which I think, they should have. So that's probably why it works, because, a little fresh mint, hit that, muddle that bad boy just the right way. It's like, we got it. We got something going here. Judging, I'm telling you, I'm 3 times in a row. Adele about to be up top, y'all. Straight.
So, last week when I said I think they were being a little bit nicer to the Americans, JK, not this week, child. They were so ruthless.
They went in.
Like the honeymoon is over.
So. I think the sad part is that at home was probably my most well-received bake from my family and friends.
And they hit you with
they were like, this cake is so good.
They were like, he's like, I don't like the texture. I don't like the flavor. I'm like, well, damn.
I know. I was like, I think I still like it, but okay.
It was pretty.
Here we go. Like the look of it. Beautifully done. Prue's like, I don't like the texture. Paul's like, I don't like the flavor. It's a good idea with one too many flavors. So, because I got you here and I knew I was going to say that, I was like, okay, one too many flavors. What do you think? What in your mind? You're like, okay, fine. I do this, I guess. What would you do to better this situation? Because you bang with it. People like it. So, I mean, if anything, you'd be like, I might just leave this bad boy be. But for their taste, I guess, what would you do to tweak it?
So I think one of the things that maybe killed me, we were talking about the UK ingredients versus the US. I couldn't find the mango that I used at home, which is the Atolfo mango. It's the, kind of smaller orange mango. Mm-hmm. It has a very smooth inside, but it has a little tartness even when it's ripe. What they had that I was using in the tent, which I thought would be a good substitute, was very sweet and a little bit like very ripe. And I think it made the cake itself too sweet, and it kind of, when it baked, it gave a flavor that I hadn't had in the cake I had at home. So I think maybe if I could do it again with the mangoes that I had, I would be curious if they liked it better. Because look, I made it for my watch party. I made it the same exact way I did in the tent. Everyone loved it. So I was like, I still like this cake.
It sounds like it was like more of a pina colada type flavor that you were going for, but then without that tartness. Because it kind of happened to Chris last week. Whatever he made, they were like, it tastes artificial. The
clementines. They said it tastes artificial. It like tastes like, boiled sweets. And I'm like, hey, bruh, that's y'all fruit, not mine. It's not really how we're doing here. So good. I love that for you, because I'm like, yeah, you know what you made, and you know why it's good. So sometimes you gotta be like, we gotta agree to disagree here, people. So excellent. Daniel. Very stylish, very Daniel.
It was so cute. That little fox just laying there. It was so cute.
I did like the fox.
Very Daniel. Paul, you've known this man for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even a week, maybe. So yeah, I would, and that's not the first time he said, well, that's not the last time he said it during the show.
This episode. Yeah.
Very good. A little too much almond in it. The blackberry brings a bit of tartness, but the almond wins out. And also probably would have been okay to take the cake out a few minutes earlier. Not overbaked, but just so. But a beautiful, moist cake. So there you go. Alma, the buttercream rosettes melted because the cake clearly was a bit warm. Because guess what? Bundt cakes need a bit of time to cool off, and you just don't get it.
And she took hers out and was like, it's not done. It needs more time. And they said it was over and under at the same time.
Because Bundt cakes is wild, y'all. Dried out and underbaked. It's the chaos of baking a Bundt cake, y'all, because it's a big old cake. You're saying, people bake layer cakes, it's just that. It's layers, it's individual layers. It's a little easier to get them out, cool them off, so and so on. But a Bundt is one big solid cake. And
dense. Yeah.
Yeah, that bad boy is doing some things.
Those cherries were lovely, though, that she dipped in the sugar.
Got that little kind of glass candy kind
They're
of
beautiful.
Yeah, even though her rosettes melted, the cherries were very nice.
Yeah. Too wet. Not overly sweet. Prue appreciates the level of sweetness as the ganache, in her opinion, is like basically punching above its weight, and it's very, very strong. It's delicious, but it's overpowering. And I don't understand that judgment. How can it be all these things? But that's what a Bundt cake is, y'all. So all these things and none of these things all at once. It's crazy. Lisa, glaze isn't shiny enough. Agree. I feel like it soaked right into the cake.
Yeah.
And we soaked right into the cake. That cake had been in the oven for too long. It was probably just a wee bit on the drier side, just a little bit. And of course, they're like, I need some kind of moisture. I'm taking your glaze is what that cake did. Not much fruit, even though we watched her hand place the berries. And of course, they just did not show up in that cake.
That she floured so they wouldn't sink.
Right.
And she's like, I'm the cake lady. I felt so bad for her because it was just like one of those things where the kitchen failed you that day.
Yes. Yeah.
I know. They keep trying to get you to say that too. They're like, what's your thing? Is cookies your thing? Cake is your thing? I'm like, you're not catching me saying that this is my thing.
And then I go home.
I know what you're doing.
a little too heavy, but really delicious. I'm telling you right now, you have had this cake before. Your grandma has made this cake before. It's got that,
and it's delicious.
Yeah, it's got that crunch to it. Because guess what? She baked it that 90 minutes too.
I'm about to say it's a two America situation. Because I like a crispy outside, thick ass, dense ass Bundt cake. I'm sure Elise's cake was busting.
I'm telling you right now, it was probably fire.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't to their taste, and that's okay. Chris, they like the decoration, but they feel like he overdid it with the cinnamon. Makes for a very nice cinnamon cake, but not really, what he was going for. The fruit is simply not present. What I found really interesting watching Chris make this cake was how maple syrup can mix up the sugar real quick. And I was like, that's wild. I keep maple syrup around. So I don't know. I'm not that I need maple sugar anytime soon, but if ever I do.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
You have to heat it first. He taught us how to do it. You have to heat it to a certain temperature, and then you mix it, and then it creates the sugar that way.
I like that a lot. So, Pablo lost a lot of the cake.
It did shrink.
It dipped dramatically due to there being too much fruit. The combination of chocolate and raspberry are very good together, but they are, in this case, both too strong. Beautiful texture, more pudding than cake from the wetness of the fruit. Paul loves it, though, and thinks it's delicious.
Was he the one that said that he was going to like pull his cake out and add raspberries as he went in?
That was his desire. I don't know if he did. Well, if he did it, they didn't show it.
They didn't show it.
Yeah. Kim, they quite like it. Its simplicity is why it's attractive.
It was so pretty.
It was such a cute cake.
It was really so pretty.
Yeah. Really lovely, very elegant and pretty. The fruit sank in the bake, so it's all concentrated near the top as opposed to being spread throughout the sponge. The mint is lovely. The combination of almond, mint, and cherry is clever and lovely. We get the first ever Baggy Show almost handshake.
The halfway handshake.
the almost, baby.
What a tease.
I know. He didn't have to do her like that. Those little marzipan cherries were so adorable, too. He should have just shook her hand. It's not her fault that the fruit fell.
I mean, it's literally her fault that the fruit
know. Still, shake her hand.
Love me some Kim, but come on, man.
Shake her hand.
This is why one has to. I know has to, because I don't think they showed you. Did you have to flour your mangoes to make them kind of be throughout, or do you just kind of?
I did flour them because I know that that's what you're supposed to do. But I have also read that it doesn't really matter. That it doesn't really do anything. You just kind of want to absorb some of the moisture. I don't know. I didn't try without the flouring because I was like, whatever, it works. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to getting the fruit distributed all through it, especially when you have a heavy, a more dense fruit like a cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fruit's weird, people, and it bakes in its own way. And most of the time, it just wants to go sink to the bottom because gravity is what it is. So worry not. We're all good here. All right. But that was your signature for this go round. Nick.
Technical challenge this week is set by Prue. Prue gave a little advice. She said this thing is all about timing and precision. And I think she was like, so get to it. The challenge is a Brooklyn Blackout Cake, which is a chocolate sponge layered with chocolate pudding covered with a shiny chocolate ganache. And the ganache must have a swirl on the top, and they have 2 hours.
Y'all know how the technical works, people.
Wait, y'all knew what a Brooklyn Blackout Cake was before this? I've never heard of that.
I've seen it around. I live in Brooklyn, actually. Yeah. I've seen it around, but it is a more traditional cake. It's not in every bakery. And actually, I feel like I have never seen it the traditional way. I've only seen it from bakeries that have put their spin on the Brooklyn Blackout Cake.
I know I've had a cake like this at a restaurant, and I don't know if I've ever seen it as a whole cake, just the tall slices they bring to you. Like, I've definitely had a cake like this, but I just had never heard of a cake referred to as the Brooklyn Blackout before this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, you know, in essence, you're like, okay, I know these components.
Absolutely.
And I can envision it.
Mm-hmm. And I've tasted it, and it's delicious and rich and wonderful. They were doing the little pre-thing. They're like, Paul was like, I'm not going to eat too much of this because we have to taste 7 slices of this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got me thinking about it. So, per Wikipedia, blackout cake, sometimes called Brooklyn Blackout Cake, is a chocolate cake filled with, Nick just went through a chocolate pudding topped with chocolate cake crumbs. It was invented during World War II. What? By a Brooklyn bakery chain named Ebinger's in recognition of the mandatory blackouts to protect the Brooklyn Navy Yard.
Oh.
After the war, the name persisted for a very dark chocolate cake and became common across the American Midwest. I live in the American Midwest. I've never heard of this. Ebinger's variety was very popular and became a signature offering, popular with Brooklyn residents until the chain of more than 50 locations closed in April of 1972. Swear to the blackout cake. Did not know that. There you go. See, data points. We try to share with you some information. how Bake Off used to be. Used to give you the history of these things. You wouldn't need me to tell you this, but
like they would go to a little factory or whatever and get taught by a smart person. It was very educational. Then they went to Channel 4 where they show Minge and Butt on. They stopped all that education.
No, you don't need that, baby. It's okay. As you know, technical challenge is not much I can tell you about it. I watch people make cakes or cookies or whatever, and this week it's cakes, and then they judge them because I'm saying it's interesting to as always to watch people like surprise, and you're like, oh no, but it's a cake, and everybody seemed to be like, okay, I can make a cake.
Adela had my favorite reaction. She was like, it just says make a cake. Dummy. You said silly. She said silly, but it was like three and a half times. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like watching my language. But that's essentially what the instructions were. It was just like make a cake and there's pudding in the middle and it's topped with chocolate ganache. Do it.
Oh.
Okay.
I both love and I think I feel for bakers when they be like, here's what I'm going to give you. This much information. You have no method. Hope for the best for you. And I'm like, come on.
Here go your ingredients. Go with God.
I didn't say give me the temperature or anything like that. They're just a little guidance. Come on, Prue. Play me. Let's judge it. Once again, Adela's up top, y'all. In this case, you can't edit it because they actually just they sit their bakes behind a picture. So it is what it is. You're first because you're first. Adela, smooth on top, wonky on the side. Crumb's a little clumsy. Hey, huge amount of ganache on top. Probably too much. The pudding has set well though. The sponge is good too. So you take the good, you take the bad. People, sorry. Pablo, not sure about how the top is coming down the side, but the ganache is nice and shiny. Not well filled. A bit claggy because it's a touch underbaked. Claggy.
That's that word. Every time they say something is claggy, I feel so terrible for whoever they're talking about because it doesn't sound like a fun word.
I'm telling you right now, I feel like American palate can be okay with a bit of claggy cake. We like a little wet cake sometimes, and just
pass out.
No, not wet like tres leches. Just a bit moister than what they intend. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And his was like it's supposed to be straight across the top, and his it came like it just looked different than everyone else's.
We'll go with that. Different is a well phrased. Nice. I like that for you. Kim, they like the swirl. Nice and neat, nice and even filling, nice sponge, good even coating on the ganache. Alma, rough and ready crumb coat. The layer of the ganache is nice. The sponge itself is what? Claggy. Needed more life, more air. Either the cakes were squashed or never rose. Ow.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to get dissed like that in my life. They be writing tracks, y'all. These are diss records by Paul and Prue, I'm telling you. Elisa, poor. Not a good ganache. It's split.
It's split because she put it in the freezer.
And the pudding is not quite set. So just that one didn't work out, y'all. Daniel, beautiful ganache. A nice spiral effect. Nice and smooth on the side. Good height, good crumb. Flavor of the cake is good. Level of the ganache is good. Neatly done. How he did the spiral was, of course, he hit that bad boy in the middle with a toothpick and spun.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. That's how he
Brilliant.
did it. And they're like, that's not what I wanted, but it is kind of fly, kind of get down with that. Chris, on the other hand, love the look. Nice shine. Good amount of ganache. Not too much. Nice flavor. Good amount of pudding in there. Boom.
Chris has an adorable little nervous twitch where he like twirls his soul patch while he's being judged. It was very fun to watch.
It's always fun to watch people get judged on technical because you can see people trying to not speak because you don't want to be like, that's my cake. But it's like, so I can understand that. Like, I'm just going to do this and keep my mouth shut. So I ain't saying that. So I get that. I understand why he does that. We will ask him about it when he comes on here in a few weeks. Let's rank him. In 7 places, Elisa, the problem with the ganache, because the ganache, of course, split. Number 6 is Pablo. The icing on the top is not good. Coming down the side. They wanted the crumb coat to go all the way up. In 5th is Alma. In 4th is Kim. 3rd is Adela. 2 is Daniel. Lovely. close between 1 and 2, which is different than last week where he was like, it's miles of difference between 1 and 2. It's like, bro, y'all gotta chill. Y'all gonna have people making enemies in the tent. Don't do that. Number 1 is, of course, Chris. The spiral is exactly what they're looking for.
Nailed it.
Shiny, it's neatly done. It's well risen. Boom. Oh, wow, that echoed way louder than it's supposed to. But that was the tech. What do you think about the technical as the person having to participate in this one, Adela?
This was one of the most delicious of the technicals. So I think we were all happy. I mean, look, if you got any of those cakes at your birthday, you would be thrilled.
Exactly.
Any one of them. And we were eating a lot of those cakes after.
Just caked out. Like, okay, I've had my fill, y'all. I think that's probably like, look, yeah, you took me to London. I get to hang out and be on TV, but I also get to eat all of this. Come on, I'm winning here. So
there was a moment during the signature when they were tasting, I think it was Chris's cake, and Casey tasted it, and before anybody could say anything, she was like, like, yes.
It was funny because she just tossed it back, was like, like that. And I was like, okay, damn girl, you gotta relax. You know what I'm saying?
That cake was good.
So cool. That was your technical this week. I did enjoy this week's technical. Again, like I said, this whole episode, of course, I love cake, but also is a solid technical idea. It was, again, like I said, they made it a little more challenging than normal by being like, I'm not giving you any kind of method or anything. I just want you to make me this cake and make it look like I'm telling you how to make it look, which is like, sheesh. But that's the fun part about a good technical. It's like, okay, it's going to be just that. It's going to be a technically impressive kind of situation. See if you can pull it off. In this case, I think everybody did a pretty decent job. You can see what went wrong and how it went wrong. And so there you go. And like I just said, I would have ate all these cakes. Nobody's cake was getting turned away.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that one. So that's okay. It is showstopper time, Nick. Hit him.
Showstopper challenge is an illusion cake. We love an illusion cake. And it has to look like a food that best represents their home state. The lookalike cake should be made predominantly from sculpted cake and be personal to the bakers. They have 4 hours.
Nick Joe, were you showstop this week?
Absolutely. I love an illusion cake.
I know you do.
Love an illusion cake. I be on TikTok every night playing Is It Cake or Real? And I'm really good at it. But then sometimes I'm really bad at it and I'm like frustrated and just quit. I also like that for the second week in a row, they've asked the bakers to bring kind of a personal touch to the thing. So it's the state where you're from. Personally, Pablo, would have done like a burrito, some tacos.
Yeah. Okay.
A Dutch crunch sandwich.
You know what just struck me this week, Nick? That, of course, this last season of Bake Off, they had an American who lives in England. Mm-hmm. And this go around, they have a Spaniard who lives in America. And I'm like, what's going on in the American version of the show? I'm just like, what's going on there? We got some kind of exchange student program going in Bake Off. But I love that. 4 hours seems, again, seems like a ton of time and then no time at all for what they're asking of you all. So I'm just like, there's a lot going on here. So let's walk through everybody's. Chris is up top, New Jersey Diner Classic. He's going for a Taylor ham. And already I want you to know, because he called it Taylor ham, I know what part of Jersey Chris lives in, and it's North Jersey. Because it's pork roll down in South Jersey. So if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. And he was very adamant about saying Taylor ham. But he was like, I hope you don't edit me to say pork roll because Taylor Ham is a brand, because I will get kicked out of my county.
Yes.
Bruh, it's one of the things that people do not play about. So it's like there is a border somewhere in the state of Jersey. It's like you have crossed into Taylor Ham country or you've crossed down into pork roll country. So it's wild that that's a thing. But it's going to be Taylor Ham, egg and cheese on a Kaiser roll. That's what he's going. That's what this is what this should look like. He's doing this with a lemon poppy seed sponge and buttercream. Lemon curd reverse spherification egg yolk kind of vibe that you have to see to believe. Raspberry curd ketchup and a sugar glass milkshake on the side. And again, my man's come through with a mold that he then like ice them on.
He made the glass.
Like,
Come on.
like, bruh.
There's a woman on TikTok who did something similar with those egg yolks, but she did it made out of carrots.
Oh,
okay. I like to see. Yeah, just send me the link. It's all good.
I don't know if I can share.
It's okay. Smokey Joe's 3 cakes, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. So they went with Neapolitan. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but still. Used to build a cheeseburger along with marzipan, cheese, tomato, and lettuce. It looked pretty cool. Didn't look like
justice for Alma's cheeseburger. It was not an illusion. It was a representation.
Fair. Artistic.
We all knew what it was. It was a burger.
My man's last year made them tomatoes, and then the other dude made tomatoes, and it was like somebody made tomatoes here, and somebody did not. It was very bad. It's crazy. Pablo, sushi for 2. He's making a sushi boat. He's going to use a vanilla sponge, a yuzu curd, and a chantilly cream. Chantilly cream, y'all, is just whipped cream. Don't think too hard about it. It's whipped cream with a fancy name. Covered in modeling chocolate to resemble a wooden plank finish. Daniel, the feast of 3 cheeses. Lemon sponge with an elderflower buttercream made to resemble a bowl of mac and cheese, a wedge of Swiss cheese, and coconut cinnamon cheese curds. The vibe is there. They didn't really say anything about the cheese curds.
Yeah, they didn't talk about
they were
them at
so
all.
good.
They're very ideal. Sounds fantastic. So, Kim, Deli Delight. This is gonna be meant to look like a bowl of chicken noodle and matzo ball soup. It's made with chocolate cake and Italian meringue buttercream. Italian meringue buttercream. It's made by whipping egg whites, sugar syrup, and butter and cream of tartar together. So that's how you get that going on right there. I believe I told you about the. We discussed the Swiss method last go round. So
Yes.
this one is the Italian way. It's topped with fondant matzo balls and noodles and a side of pickles. The pickles will come up for discussion. Saturday mornings in Chinatown. Made to resemble a steamer basket with dumplings made with almond sponge, strawberry jam, and black sesame Italian buttercream. We just talked about it, so you know what it is. Black sesame. Okay, so that's okay. At some point, Prue said, I like the sesame. And I was like, do I recall sesame being in this? But I'm like, literally wrote it down here. So I mean, yes, I do. Tell me about going out for dumplings. Because like I said, I want to be able to go out for dumplings. I just
You
don't.
can't. You just have to be careful about the ingredient. Like dim sum has so many different options.
Mm-hmm. Lots of vegetarian. There's a lot of vegetarian options, but you do have to be careful because maybe some cross contamination might happen.
See, it's not like not that this is not a religious thing. This is not nothing. I just don't eat mammals. That's me. And so if I can get a chicken situation popping, and gelatinized chicken some way, shape, or form, you know what I'm saying? Then I would be fine. I just, like I said, I just want them because they look amazing. And then they got the ones that are kind of like, little sandwich guys, a little fold over. What's them?
Bao.
Is that? No, Bao was the one with the spiral, right? What's the one that more like,
Bao.
It's also bao. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so they're still called Bao, even though it's like the different whatever. I'm over here on the wrong side of the screen again, y'all. I'm sorry. Now I need to. But either way, dumplings look amazing. And since I was a child,
shumai that you made looked like it has to be a crazy mind game to pick up something that's supposed to taste savory and it's cake.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And then they were like, you
Oh,
could
thank
put a
you.
little bit more, whatever, on the basket. I'm like, hell nah. This looks real. What are y'all talking about?
We ain't gonna be clowning on Dame Prue. She just is like, had
just
we given you more time, she knew what it was. She was like, had we given you more
That shit was
time, I know you could have went in there and made the wood look woodier. That's okay. That's not a diss.
The baskets don't always be brown and have wood grain showing. Sometimes they're just exactly like we're presented.
Hey, tis what it is.
Thank you.
Leave Dame Prue alone.
You should have been my judge.
Right. Like, this looks so real.
What they didn't show was that, the shomai, it was cake pops, but it was covered in fondant, right? And I did that because I was like, oh, well, it has to have some cake in it to fit the brief. And then Prue was like, oh, are these edible? I was like, well, yeah. And then she took a bite. I was like, oh, no.
There's a stick in there.
No, I just was like, it's not going to taste good. It's like all fondant. I'm like, it's edible technically.
Right.
In that, yes, you can eat it and will not die, but no,
It wasn't meant for you to taste. Yeah.
Yes. And what they didn't mention was actually I had a black sesame almond candy, like a crunch that I had made. And so when she was like, oh, it's that crunch, I like that crunch, that's actually the component, but it just wasn't written out in the description.
Yeah. See, that's why you hang out with the bakers, people. Take all the secrets. See, that's the real secret of the tent. Comedic, opening of the show. Elisa, Chicago Italian beef sandwich. The idea was sound. I know what she was doing. She's making basically a Portillo's type joint. If you want to go to chain spot, I'm sure there's lovely Portillo's things to get Italian beef at that are not Portillo's. So no knocking.
It looked like a gyro.
Yes, but the notion. I'm giving her credit for like, yeah, that makes sense. Made with a chocolate velvet cake, a thing I've never heard of.
Yeah, my friend's mother makes chocolate velvet cakes.
Is it good?
It's delicious. It's very good.
I need something like that in my life. Cream cheese frosting, of course, because it's a velvet joint. You know how it is. Red velvet comes with cream cheese. Chocolate velvet does apparently. Blue velvet, we know it does. So here you are. When she said pop instead of soda, I don't mean to be that guy. I didn't think I was that guy. Pop really took me off. I was like, what is going on here?
She's from Midwest.
It's not even that. You cut just a couple of hours that way. In my state, it becomes pop. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I'm not used to it. I just haven't heard it in quite a while now. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
No, it made my skin twitch a little bit, y'all. I'm a soda man. That's just what it is.
Cold drink from where my people are from.
So you get to the right area. Everything Coke, no matter what, a Sprite of Coke, a Dr. Pepper Coke. So you said this nation is built on languages, y'all. Just fun use of it. Pop. They said pop was. It's like one of them seasons of the Bear. And my man, when they out there shooting up the place, they do like, get us some pop, maybe some Green River. I'm like, pop. No, people, stop it. Once again, who's up first to get judged? Sadella. Which kind of works nice for this episode. I think I don't know. I just like the way it played out this go around. You're here to be like, okay, yes, this is how they judge my shit. Looks good. Representative of the side. More time could have been made. More time provided could have made for, I guess, a more illusory look is basically what we just discussed. Yes, sure. Thank you, Prue. I don't know if that was necessary to add to the whole judgment.
Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say.
Fair. It's like, don't say that because you didn't give me more time. So this is what I presented to the class. Love the Sesame Crunch and neat as a pen. Let me tell you, neat as a pen would do my soul right. So
that's on my bingo board.
Yeah. So if nothing else, you got that. Plus, you made a dope cake and I bang with it. So good stuff. Look good to me. And in this situation, I get to be the judge. Nah. Chris is up next. Impressed by how much it resembles a burger, which is not what it was. So it did not resemble that at all. But I mean, whatever, Paul. Delicious. So good. Ingenious. One of the best illusion cakes ever in the tent.
It was incredible.
It really was.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
We all turned over to, once you're done, then you get to look up and see what everyone else is doing. You're really not paying attention otherwise. And I looked up and we all saw his cake and I was like, I should just throw my cake in the garbage. Look at this thing. How did you have time to make these three
in the
components?
same time that I made mine?
I was just like, what additional 2 hours did you have?
It was incredible.
It might be one of the ones I've like that I've said. I'm like, oh, you really kind of did that. So right on. The only way he was gonna not get that right is if it just tasted gross, and it didn't. It tasted good. So respect. This is another one where Nick, you were spot on. They was not pulling punches this week. Alma, you'd never be fooled into believing that was a burger, bro.
It was a burger. It was very obviously a burger. It wasn't an illusion. It was a burger. It was a facsimile.
She had desires, and they were not being met on this particular one. But Paul loves the lettuce, tomato, and cheese situation.
They were nice.
I did too. Well done, I thought. The bottom cake was squashed, and probably should have used dowels or maybe a board between the layers. Paul, though, loves the strawberry cakes in a way that seemed confusing to him, like he didn't think he would like a strawberry cake. Did y'all kind of pick that up when that edit? Okay. I was like, do you not like strawberry cake, sir? And this surprised you for that reason? Or I don't know. It was weird. Great job overall. It's just too big. There you go. Thank you for that. Whew. Elisa, a bit untidy. Not much effort made for it to resemble beef. I don't know what they wanted her to do in this situation. I guess you cut it super thin, maybe? I don't know.
Well, because it just looked like smaller slices of cake.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I don't know what you're going to do to make cake look like meat in this operation. So, but again, I don't bake at that level, so maybe he knows something I don't. But it tastes really nice. That heavy. They took that bite, was like, whoa.
Yeah, like it was good.
Yeah, it was that kind of good. That's so good, kept her in the tent. I'm telling you that right now, y'all. It's something that like it was one of real obvious, like, oh, there you go.
That's kind of how it went for her this week. Everything they had a little bit of an issue with, but they enjoyed the flavors of all of her stuff.
Yep. Not overly impressed by the illusion. Yeah, they was real mean this week, y'all. Kim, are these sea animals? That's how they open that.
Her pickles, they did kind of look like a sea anemones. Sorry, Kim.
She said they look like leopard sausages.
That was uncalled for.
Okay. She got her voice back, was like, I need to show out right quick.
She said,
the top, though, was beautiful. The carrots, look, them carrots was
the carrots were insane.
Yeah. Like, well, okay. So you got this. Good cake, delicious. Paul doesn't like it. He loves it. I love when he does that. It's my favorite, like, Paul bit. When he goes, I don't like it. And people, it ain't like, what the fuck, bro? And then he goes, I love it. Like, and
then she jumped. She's so adorable. Just a little spitfire.
Yeah. Pablo.
Oh, Pablo.
Looks cartoon-like.
Which, it was anime sushi.
The sushi's not very credible. The boat is not the best-looking thing. It's more of a trifle because of the amount of buttercream and yuzu. And the yuzu buttercream is grainy. It's very sweet. Overall look untidy. The cake is lovely, but the buttercream overpowers it. And he's like, dag, man. Another person who said, I'm a cake guy. I bake 40 cakes in any given situation. It's like,
for his employees, for their birthdays.
I'm going to go with Adela here. Just be cool. Don't say you are anything. I'm present in this tent right now. That is all I'm going to say. Wow. Yeah. Again, that was a hell of a showstopper. Indeed, I too was showstopper, Nick. And I was very, very impressed with
Daniels. Did you do Daniel?
Did I not?
No, I don't think it did. It's mac and cheese.
There's the last one. Looks like cartoon cheese. The bowl, very believable. So much so, it was like, oh my God, he's going to bang the bowl. Flavors, beautifully balanced. Lemony, creamy, delicious. The design is very clever, neat. Very Daniel. Two very Daniels in one episode of a man they've known for a week.
That mac and cheese looked looked like I wanted to put a fork in it and get a little taste. It looked so real.
It looked like KD to me, but I get that. You know what I'm saying? So, it's crab dinner.
It looked like box mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it did have a little shine to it. You know I was like, okay, well done, sir. But I like that my man's get a very Daniel. A little pat on the back, like, thank you. It is very me. Swag. Just pat himself on the back. It's okay. That now is your showstopper. And your star baker, he made a Taylor ham, you know what I'm saying, / pork roll. Taylor ham, we'll just leave that be. That man called it Taylor ham, and we will respect his choices. Taylor ham sandwich, and it looked kind of crazy, y'all. And he definitely won this. He won it this week, going away with it. I was like very impressed with Chris this week, and a good bounce back from last week where he just had a little bit of an off week. So
absolutely
come back into the dang thing. Sent home, unfortunately, is Pablo. And again, because I'm watching, even though I have every episode, I still watch it weekly. I was really like, that's crazy. I was kind of taken aback by that. I have no idea what I thought Pablo was going to do from the first episode. He was not that he's not a good baker. All these people are the most amazing bakers that ever probably have played the sport. So don't ever get it twisted. But from what my expectations based on his first week, it was kind of shocking to see him go home here in the second.
Agreed.
So, yeah, just is what it is, y'all. I'm sorry. But it's a hell of an episode. And I really, really enjoyed it. I of course love the show. I make a whole podcast based around it. So of course I love this show. But it was just really cool to see it kind of go down like this week. And I very much enjoyed it. I got to jump over to YouTube right quick, y'all, because I need to pull up a comment. There it is. Boom. All right. But that was the show, y'all. So, Nick, you got an ideal question of the week poll? I did come with one for last week, so.
I was gonna just suggest we ask what people's favorite cake is.
Very good.
I don't know poll though.
I'll figure it out. Adele, if you have any idea what kind of poll question we can have the listeners, please tell me.
I'll give it a think.
If it comes up before Friday, you just text it, you just email it. We're good to go. Favorite cake is your question of the week. We got a little comment over on the YouTube, and I want to actually let me give it a thumbs up and a heart. Sorry, I need to go. Like it just popped on my email. It was like, you got a comment on YouTube, so I had to let me go jump over there. This is from. Oh, this is Kim, Mr. Bentley's World. Love it. Way to go, Daniel, kicking off our season in a fabulous way. Love the show and can't wait to hear and see the rest of the cast and the season. Keep shining, T and Nick. Been a long time listener, and this season is just all the more special. Thanks, Kim.
So nice. She reached out to me on Instagram today and said that she listens to our show and she used to listen to us on her walks and stuff. I'm like, oh,
very, very cool. Adela, I am so thankful and happy to have had you this night. Thank you for spending time with us, hanging out the whole show. Extra dope. You do saying no one has to do it. Just extra fun that you did. I'm glad to have had you here. You are a wonderful baker, and I'm so glad that you made it to the tent. And I'm sort of aware of the distance you've gone in the tent. I'll just leave it at that. I can't tell you too much, but I can tell you that much. And so that is extra fun. Where can people keep up with you if you are so inclined to share?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at Adela Mo, and you can follow me on TikTok at Adela Bakes. Yeah, and this is so fun. Thank you for having me. This is my first podcast interview, and what a great one!
Yay!
You should be podcasting. You're
yes.
good for it. I'm telling you. I don't know what you make whatever podcast. Go podcast about Broadway, podcast about hiking and food, whatever. I'm telling you right now, you got it. And trust me, we've been doing it for a very long time. I can tell when somebody got it. So,
oh, thank you. This was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
You're supposed to say that all of episodes.
Oh, I'm about to.
Okay.
It literally just put it on screen, so I got the wording right.
Wonderful.
All 6 episodes are available to stream for free on the Roku channel right now. Go watch the Great American Baking Show if you are a fan of the Great British Bake Off. Or baking show if you're in America, but I call it a bake off because Mama called it bake off. I'm gonna call it bake off. Then you need to be watching the Great American Baking Show because it is a fantastic version of it. We got a few less bakers. I don't like that, but I know why we do it that way. But It is really, really great. It is the tint. It is Paul. It is Prue. It is wonderful. And you should be getting down with it. That is, of course, Nick Jew.
I was going to say something clever, and I'm out of clever for the night.
We've run
Too
through
late for clever.
Yeah, it's too late for clever.
We've run through our clever quotient, people. My apologies.
I'm tired.
I am the internet's Tay-Rail713. Bake with us again next time. We'll do it again next week. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.